Cover is an essential part of this game. The simple use of cover will increase your survivability significantly if implemented properly. The ability to reduce the likelihood of you being shot or taking damage is invaluable. This means you will stay alive longer to support your squad and ensure you will not risk your friendly medics. When moving from one location to the next, it is vital to use cover as to reach your destination alive. When peeking and trying to engage enemies from cover, be sure to not overexpose yourself. If you strafe too far from cover, it leaves you open to attack. Once you start realizing you are taking damage, it may be too late for you, for your cover is too far away. Right now, that enemy medic could easily mow me down. If I were shooting back, I would be more exposed. He has good top cover and partial cover. Most of his bottom torso is covered, and if he wants, he can slip back into cover when I start engaging him if I gain the upper hand. So it is vital that I stay close to my cover, as if he gains the upper hand in this engagement, I will be able to fall back into a safe position and recover. Engaging enemies from cover, be sure to not re-peek the same piece of cover twice. Reason being is you make yourself very susceptible to pre-fire and very predictable. Watch what this enemy medic does to me. This is what you want to do. He changes up his positioning, making himself more difficult to predict on where he may peek from, making me have to react to him to where he can initiate the fight from wherever location he pleases. A big tip to notice whenever you are engaging an enemy, regardless from it be cover or not cover, watch what the impact of spotting, if I just spot this medic, what it does for me when allowing myself to try and anticipate where he will peek me from. Watch what this medic does to me, and watch how I react since I have him spotted. I can better predict where he will peek from while I have him spotted, eyeballing my minimap, making it much easier for me to predict his movements. So when engaging an enemy, it is very important to know when you need to move your piece of cover. If you're in a fight and it looks like nobody is going to get the upper hand, try and change up your piece of cover and try and get a different angle on your enemy. I have just spotted this enemy medic. He has not spotted me. I am going to go in and attempt to flank him. He has not spotted me, yet I have him flanked. In that situation, he would be dead. He was completely exposed, and I have very decent cover. Communication is key to a squad success, as knowing where the enemy is coming from, what they consist of, and what they are doing is necessary to your squad reacting correctly. The easiest way, and take note, the only way for those without mics to do this, is to press R1 at an enemy. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to spot this enemy and watch how my friendlies react and position themselves when they know where this enemy is located, and keep in mind the call out that I will give, alerting them. Enemy medic spotted behind boxes. Watch what my squad does. They completely surround him. In an actual combat situation, this medic would be fried. In this game, it may seem like a lot of players are seeming like they drop you instantly, especially the more experienced players of this game. And it sometimes may seem like they have aimbot. They drop you literally like in half a second. That's very realistic in this game for the way the time to kill operates, especially when it comes to hitting those headshots. If you hit them in the head, it will deal double the amount of damage. The gun in my hand deals 143 damage, which means if I hit a headshot within the maximum damage range, that means my gun will actually deal 286 damage. So every time I shoot and I hit him in the head, my gun is doing double the amount of damage, which means that's half the amount of time that it's going to take for me to kill him. And the way you practice this, or the way you get better at this, is through crosshair placement. There's a whole list of weapon mechanics and things that you need to know about the game in order to land those consistent headshots. However, this will teach you one of the largest points, and that is called crosshair placement. I want you to look at where my crosshairs currently are located. They are the four little white lines going inward. That is my crosshair. If I were to pop this corner right now, my crosshair would be aimed at this medic's dick. That is not good. That means I'm going to mainly be hitting dick shots, and we do not get bonus damage for dick shots. However, we do get bonus damage for headshots. So, if I were to place my crosshair on his head, that's pretty much on his head, and now I go back into cover, and now I peek the corner, my crosshair is already on his head. That is going to decrease the amount of time it's going to take me. Say if I have bad crosshair placement, my crosshair usually be down here, it's going to cut out the time it takes to go from up here to on his head. It will cut out almost one entire axis of movement. Instead of having to go up or down, or primarily up to his head, all I will have to do is move my crosshair left or right onto his head, making it significantly easier to land headshots. The basis of this is to position your crosshair where you believe the enemy's head is most likely going to be located, making those headshots just feel natural and extremely easy to pull off, giving you that bonus damage. Also, a quick gameplay tip is to never pick a corner while sprinting. The reason why you don't want to do this is because your gun will not be ready to shoot immediately. However, if you were to stop sprinting before you peek the corner, your gun will be ready to shoot if you encounter a bad guy. That is more uptime for your gun and less time you are vulnerable. Just to put some emphasis on why you should not peek a corner while sprinting, just watch it how long it takes this medic to shoot me when coming from sprint. The amount of time it took him to come from sprint to shoot me was a lot. When I shot him, he realized, oh no, there is a bad guy, let me shoot back. That was easily a half a second gap where I could have unloaded my magazine and he would have been helpless. PlanetSide 2 is a very special game, special for multiple reasons. The most important one is the way it compensates for lag. And the way this game compensates for lag is what allows us to have these massive, amazing fights of like over 100 people. It's lovely, like over 200 people even. Like the fights get massive. However, that's because of the way the game compensates for lag. So everything that you are seeing is a quarter of a second in the past, give or take some extra time. More than likely take, but still, you see it before the enemy sees it. So, wherever John Price is on his screen, he is a quarter of a second in the future on his screen. But on mine, he's just doing that. But keep in mind, I'm seeing his echo. That is where he was. That is not where he is. So, if I were to come over here and peek this corner, I would see John Price before he sees me. Just because the way this game compensates for lag. John Price, stand over there and do not move. Now, John Price has no clear line of sight on me. But if I peek this, if you pause the instance in where I peeked the corner and I saw him, he has not seen me yet. He will see me in about a quarter of a second, give or take some time. Which means I can land the first few initiating shots of the engagement in my favor. However, if I do not kill him and I fall back in cover, I am at a slight disadvantage. My disadvantage being is when I pull back into cover, so if I walk here, I no longer have line of sight on him. However, in that instance, my body is still right here, which means if John Price were on the enemy faction, he would be able to kill me within that instance, or at least damage me, while I am in cover. However, if I were to then go out and peek, I would have the advantage. But again, if I go back in, my body for him is still right there. My body is moving towards cover, but in that instance, it is still exposed to him. So, peeker's advantage in this goes to whoever peeks latest. If John Price is pre-aiming this position, and then I peek, even though he was already aimed on the position and peeking it, I have the advantage because I peeked it latest, because my echo is still concealed behind cover, which means I have about a quarter of a second, if not less, or more time, that I can shoot him without him being able to react to me. That is the way this game compensates for lag. So, whatever you see, you can shoot, and whatever they see, they can shoot. They cannot shoot you when you peek out of this cover until your echo, which is what they see, has caught up with you and is right here. Then they will be able to shoot you. But until that echo catches up with you right here, they will not be able to shoot you. Rel goes into significantly more detail about the way this game compensates for lag, and I extremely advise that you check out his video on this. Link will be in the description below. So, we're going to be teaching you guys a thing called double backing. Double backing in this game is a very nice way to turn the tide of an engagement. If you are losing and you initiate a double back, you can very well turn the tides, if not completely, kill the enemy that is trying to kill you. So we're going to go ahead and give an example of that. So, me and this enemy medic have just spotted each other. When I popped this corner, he peeked me and he had the advantage, and he took away all of my shield. Naturally, since he has the advantage, he is going to pursue, and I'm going to fall in cover. However, while he's charging, I'm going to unload and kill him. The reason why that was easy is, number one, because while he was charging, he was in the middle of a sprint. It takes time for your gun to come from a sprint to a shoot. This is time where you can use your latency advantage to, even more of an advantage. You can use that, and you can completely wipe the floor with the enemy, because number one, you have latency. Number two, he is sprinting. And number three, in that instance, he had no cover. That is 3 advantages that are stacked in your favor, making it very, very easy to tip the scales of an engagement. In that engagement, my aim near the end was off. However, in the beginning of that engagement, my aim was on point, and I had popped his shield and lowered his health below what mine was at. Plus, his gun had to come from a sprint. That made it impossible for him to be able to retaliate against me when I peeked, making it very easy for me to kill him. I used latency twice in that. I used the latency of him traveling in a straight line towards me, making it harder for him to react. I used the latency of peekers. I peeked, my echo was still hidden behind a wall, making it impossible for him to even shoot me. And the time it took from him to get to a sprint to a shoot, all stacked in my favor, allowed me to tip the scales of a losing fight for me into a winning fight. Alright, something I see that a lot of new players do is they tend to travel to their destinations in a straight line. And in the midst of chaos, that is a very, very, very bad thing for you to do. Reason being is it makes yourself a very easy and susceptible target to the enemies. Trumpetboy is going to give an example of traveling in a straight line, and I'm going to be shooting him. This example is going to show you why traveling in a straight line is bad and why it's so predictable. Trumpetboy, go ahead and run straight line. It was not very hard. It was completely predictable. Now, Trumpet is going to give an example while kind of juking. He's going to be strafing, making it more difficult for me to land shots. Alright, Trumpet, when your shield is regen, go ahead and do the jukey and try not to make me look too bad. That is him moving in a semi-jukey but not a straight line pattern. It makes himself a very hard target. Very hard. I'm going to go ahead and do it, and you can see what it looks like on his screen. Trumpet, go back over there and try and kill me with this. And see if I die. It is very, very easy to just juke. It's a simple, simple habit that you just need to build up, and it can save your ass a lot of times. And just for the purpose of seeing the difference in running a straight line, MeLeroy, you might want to get ready to revive me. Trumpet, I'm going to be traveling in a straight line. I did not get to my doorway. That is because whenever you travel in a straight line, you make yourself a very susceptible and easy target. It's very predictable where to lead their shots, and it's overall, you make yourself a free kill.